She was a lonely and depressed orphan who died from overwork. However, when she met God, he reincarnated her as a sweet young girl with a loving family and overpower abilities. This is Midori, a 27-year-old office worker walking towards home, tired and sleepy. As she opens the door and enters in, she falls to the floor and dies due to overworking. Tears roll down her cheeks as she feels sad that she never had any friends or a family of her own. And as her soul leaves her body, she feels even sadder. Then God appears and says, if you help me, I can give you a new life. In another world called Azdalan, humans are killing other creatures. I'll reincarnate you in that world so you can decide if humans should be wiped out there. In exchange, I'll grant you a special power. Tell me anything you want. She screams out, I want to pet fluffy things. Petting fluffy things soothes my exhausted heart. God gets confused, so he grants her special power to be liked by all the creatures other than humans, and then farewells her to another world. In Otherworld, there is a kingdom peaceful and silent, where in a home of Duke, a new baby has just been born. Her mom named her Nefertima, while her sister says, I will call her Nima. Dad holds the baby on his arms. Nima gives her first cry and thinks, so I've really been reincarnated in this new world. Now, Nima turned 3. Her brother Ralph gifts her flowers. Her sister Karna makes her a pretty firework with magic. She also has a kind dad and beautiful mum. As Nima runs, she's about to fall. But her dog Dee comes to save her on time. She hugs and pampers Dee and enjoys her time with a lot of animals. She's living her new life happily, all thanks to God who gives her special power to be loved by animals. Next day, Mum tells her she will go with her to the palace as she has to work there and no one is home to stay with her. Dad is in palace working and her siblings are in school. So Nima gets to leave the house for the first time and she's happy to see people and things around. The people look peaceful, making her doubt if they are punishing other creatures as God told her. At the palace, Mum asks her, will you be okay alone? She says yes. Then she puts a protective spell on her. She asks her to stay there and wait for her. After a while, she becomes bored. She looks outside and sees a bird flying. Outside, she runs after the bird, saying, bird, wait for me. She becomes tired and stops. Then animals surround her. She's happy as one pet her cheek. Just then another white-eyed animals appear and the animals with her run away. She's amazed. When a white tiger appears, she stares at him and after, she shouts, what a soft-looking animal. Can I pat you? The animal bends to her and licks her cheek. She enjoys it and hugs him. She feels his softness and says, this softness is rare. Just then white tiger stands and turns his back to her. She asks, can I ride on your back? And he responds, yes. The white tiger rides her around the garden. Then she sees a guy on the tree. The guy says, get down, it's dangerous. He jumps down from the tree, and the white tiger bends. When he carries her, she says, let me go. But he refuses. The white tiger uses his mouth to take her from him. She says thank you to him. The guy is surprised. White tiger helps her. He asks, where are your parents? She replies, Mum is working. He asks her name, and she rudely replies, I'm Nima from Asfa family. The guy then says, come with me, and she rides on White Tiger. She follows him to a room and he knocks on the door, and when he opens it, she's shocked to see her dad. The guy says she seems lost, so I brought her to you angrily. She says, I'm not lost. I came here with Mum, and when I feel bored, White Tiger played with me. Dad hugs her saying, sorry, you feel bored, and then says to the guy, thank you, Prince, for bringing her to me. Nima is shocked, so he's the prince. Dad asks her to thank the prince, and she bows saying, thank you, Prince, but still angry. Seeing that, Prince walks up to her and pet her head. A man appears. She assumes he's king, so she politely greets him. He's impressed and says, what a good girl. He moves close to her and asks if she likes White Tiger. She replies, we are friends. He says he's king, and you can come visit the White Tiger again. When her mum returns, she's angry. She says, why do you ride on White Tiger? She replies, we are friends, and he protected me. I would like to see him again, the king says. I can come. Mum then asks her to promise her she won't visit White Tiger if no one is watching, because he is a holy beast who has special spirit magic. The spirits use divine power, and he only listened to Prince since they are close. But Nima said, White Tiger is my friend too, and I want to pet him again. Her mum says, I know, but don't go to him if no one is watching. She replies, okay, and runs off to play with her dog. Mum says, I can't believe she's friend with White Tiger. Dad answers, she may have some special power that makes animals likes her. Up next, she's out again with her parents and amazed at the building. And so many people in her brother and sister's school, they come to watch their test presentation. And she wonders if there's any animal around, then Mum says, don't get lost. Hold my hand. They are welcomed by the maid and offered a seat and some food. Nima is the first to sit, and she's amazed to see the scene. Dad says the scene was created by teachers' magic, and students will be commanding soldiers to battle one another as test. Her brother is called out first to fight, and his opponent looks tough, making Nima worried if he will be okay. The two began to command the soldiers to battle. Ralph and his opponent look serious, but in the end, Ralph wins, and he's announced the winner. Nima and his parents are so happy, she runs to hug her brother. He says thank you. Just then, she says, I want to pee. After, she comes out of the restroom and returns to her brother, who is talking with his schoolmate. Ralph says, I have to go with my sister. His schoolmate says, let servants look after her, or will she be an excuse if I win you? That annoys Nima. She says, my brother won't lose. He replies, you are just a child. Nima feels he's rude to talk to her family like that. Then she replies, it's better to be a child than a dummy like you. And he wants to hit her. But Ralph tries to stop him. Just then, Prince appears, and they greet him. Then he asks him, do you want to hit a child? He denies, saying no, Prince says. But Nima is hiding. Ralph's surprised he knows her name. He reveals he helped her in the palace when she's lost. That annoys her, and she says, I'm not lost. Prince carries her and asks if she'll be his friend and she can come to palace anytime. Then she remembers White Tiger. Ralph's schoolmate says you can't allow a child in the palace. He replies, King likes her, so it's not a problem. Prince plays with her cheeks. Then Ralph says they need to go. Then he warns Ralph's schoolmate never try to hit her again. He's shocked and answers, I will be careful, and leaves. Prince asks Nima, you've got black eyes? She moves her face away, thinking people in their world don't have black eyes. She denies, saying no, they are blue. She thinks of changing the topic and says, call me Nima. He says, you can call me Will, but she can't pronounce it well. She says, Will, and that makes them laugh. Nima's parents see the prince and bow to greet him. He says, stand up, I came to watch as a student of the academy. Meanwhile, Karna is about to start her test. Prince says her test is to use magic to defeat a monster summoned weapon. By a magic circle, the test begins and she casts her magic. Surprisingly, a dragon appears, and that makes everyone there shocked. Nima asks if it is a monster. Prince says no, it's a fire dragon, a special creature like Lars. Prince asks her dad, can Karna use magic fire? Her dad says her fire magic is high but water magic low. Prince says she's in danger, but Karna smiles, intending to fight him. Her mum too prepares to fight, seeing Karna might be hurt. Nima jumps down from Prince and climbs the fence, falling down. On the other side, however, something helps her and she manages to land on her feet. She runs to the scene shouting, stop! She moves close to the dragon and tries to protect him, and saying, don't hurt him. Everyone is shocked to see a child there. Then the dragon says, why is a child here? She's amazed he can talk. Then she tells him he can't hurt anyone either. He replies, they forcibly summoned me here, yet they try to attack me, ignoring his words. She says, I wanted to pat you. Dragon asks if she doesn't fear him, and she says, no, I don't. He says, what a strange child, and bends down. Soldiers got scared, ready to attack him, but Prince stops them, and they watch as she happily pats him. Her family is amazed to see her pat the dragon now, and she says, this feels nice. Everyone gathers. Watching Nima pats the dragon, Prince says he can't believe a kid pats dragon, and he didn't harm her. After, Dragon tells her she can call him when need comes. He gets ready to fly, but she says don't go. So he gives her an item she can use to call him. The item falls into her hand, and it looks strange. He tells her to keep it with her all time, and if she want, can change it. She thinks of what to change it into to carry it around. Light shines, and the item suddenly turns into a baby doll she thought of, and she's amazed. Dragon tells her the item connects them mentally, so she can use his magic through it to protect herself. She thanks him and asks his name. He replies, Soul. She says, I'm Nima. Nice to meet you. Dragon flies away, and she waves at him. Her family worried, especially her sister. She asks if she's okay, and she says, I'm fine. She hugs her so tightly and cries. Prince also plays with her cheeks, saying, I'm glad you're safe. He turns to her dad and asks him to find out why the dragon appears. Moment later, at palace, Nima and her parents walk towards the throne room, where the king is. They bow to greet King. When Nima raises her head, she's shocked to see so many important people standing in the room. The king then says, I heard Nima can use dragon power now. Is it true? That got her nervous. Then her dad replies, the dragon only promises to help her anytime she wants. The king asks, won't she use that to trouble our kingdom? He bows and swears she won't. She's afraid because dad will die if he breaks the vow. The research director appears and explains that spell was used in the school for test to summon ordinary monster, and not to summon fire dragon, it just appears. The king asks, how does it appears then? He replies, it's the will of God. Nima is shocked to hear him says God. The king asks the high priest, and he also says, truly it's God's will. The dragons appears because God expects the king to make his people great. Nima now remembers God's word about priests lying to people by God's words. However, she says, I won't judge them now, as she wants to enjoy patting animals around for a while. She is nervous seeing that Prince had been looking her. Then he asks her, will you play with Lars? The king also says, go and play. She is so happy. Then Prince tells Lars to play with her, and he agrees. She excitedly holds his tail as they move. Nima is happy to be with Lars, and she feeds him his food with bare hands. Then her parents and other people gather. Lars smiles at her. People are surprised that she fed Lars with her hand. The maid gave her napkin to clean her hand. She says thanks, and that makes her blushes. As the maid leaves, Nima says it's time to feel Lars' softness. He pats her cheeks, making her rest on him, and she sleeps off. While everyone watches, her dad says, "Oh, she's so cute when she sleeps." Others are surprised, saying she's not an ordinary girl. She should just be close friends with Fire Dragon so she can bring his blessings to us. Also, priests plan to keep her not knowing dad overhears. Minister of Affairs Olivia appears and asks Osfe is she okay. She wonders why Lars likes her. Just then, Chief Priest also walks in, saying, "Let church help you look after her. We train girls like her God's words." His father says, "No, I don't want that for Nima," knowing that they teach the girls lies about God's words. He promises to take care of her. Then dad explains, "I can't give her to you because she's still a child who knows nothing." The priest feels like he is insulting him. Then he asks, "Is she really your daughter?" Osfa's surprised, saying, "What do you mean?" He says she doesn't look like her brother and sister. Her mum disagrees, saying, "We swear in God's name when she's born and will be punished if we lie." He replies, "It might be only dad who swears because he loves you." She replies, "The king was there. Are you doubting the king?" He's shocked and keep quiet. Others then support him, saying, "Let priest take Nima to church," but king and his wife say no. Next, still at palace, Lars licks Nima's cheeks to wake her up. Dad tells her the meeting is over and all went well. She's excited, asking, "Is everything okay now?" Her mum says, "Yes, your power is God's will." King walks in, carries her, and says, "You can come here anytime." She's happy about it. Prince tells her there are many animals she will like in the palace, so he takes her with him, and that makes her nervous. A royal guard appears and bows, introducing himself as Gwyn. She's amazed. What a pretty boy. She says name, and also that she saw Gwyn with the king before, which surprises him. Prince says to him, "Take her to Dragon Stable." Gwyn is shocked and wonders why he has to take her there, but she's happy. As they move, he wonders, "Why must I do this?" Meanwhile, Nima could hear him, but doesn't care. She can't wait to touch the dragons and wishes Gwyn will just cooperate with her. They meet a guy who says to her, "The prince tells me about you." He bends to her and she feels he's a kind man, so she introduces herself. Impressed, he pats her head, saying, "I am Dan, the captain of the Dragon Guard." Gwyn asks, "Why didn't you dress well as a royal guard?" The two argue about it, which shocks Nima. The guards say they have always fight like that since they were young. However, Dan says he doesn't need to dress like a guard while with dragons, but Gwyn says, "No, you're smelling." Wanting to fight, she stops them. Dan leads her to the dragon stable, warning her not to touch them. Some dragons are flying, some running, and others drinking water. She amazed to see them. The dragon flying are called lindbooms, and the ones with no wings are lindrakes. And here is grassland. She says, "Wow, this place so big." She asks him, "Don't they run away?" And he says, "No, they have real names we call them." She says they are so cute, and Dan smiles. She wishes she can touch the dragons, but Dan will say no. Suddenly, her baby doll shows light. Dragons then begin to run, which makes everyone shocked. They come at her, and Dan wants to run with her. One dragon stops them, smiling at her. She moves closer to it, saying, "Your name is Gazelle." Guards were shocked as she talks to him. She turns to them, saying, "I can talk to him because I have Soul's item." She asks Dan, "Can I play with him?" And he says, "Sure." So she jumps on Gazelle's back, and he flies her up. Dan and Gwyn are amazed as they watch her go. She shouts, "See you later." Nima's super excited. Gazelle then says, "I can feel the presence of Fire Dragon in you." She says, "Yes, it's because I have his item." Gazelle says, "For that other dragons will also like you." Soon they arrived at a garden with beautiful flowers, and she fed him with some. She begins to play with the dragons. They also say, "Let's play with her." One carries her on his back in water. She says this feels so nice. She throws water at a dragon, and the dragon did the same. Then they begin playing with the water. Dan is still surprised that Gazelle let her ride on his back because he never allows anyone, not even him, that's so close to them. Gwyn asks, "Do you know Fire Dragon appears?" Dan says, "Yes, I saw him flying back the day he appears." He says the item with Nima is a magic item created only by powerful dragons, so she can talk with it. Gwyn says having the rare item makes her the Fire Dragon's master. Two are confused, but she's just a child. Just then, she shouts, "I'm back." They were shocked to see Lars carry her on his back, and all dragons follow her. Dan is amazed, saying, "Who's this girl?" She says excitedly, "I have so much fun touching the dragons." Next day, Dan walks with Nima to the stable to see more animals. The stable captain who will take them around there appears, and they meet him. He introduces himself to her, saying, "I am the Captain Les," and bows. She feels he's a nice person and also tells him her name. Les wonders if she's the special girl Dan tells him about because she looks ordinary to him. While Nima asks Dan to leave his hand, she can walk herself. Dan told Les before that the dragon leader let Nima ride on his back, and he's never allowed him do that, so he's jealous because he feels he's closer to the dragons. Meanwhile, she's not happy Dan is stopping her from moving around. At the stable, she's amazed seeing it so big. She also admires horses around. Les says they will ride on the horses to go round the stable. She's happy. The horse looks sad, not minding her as she tells him her name. He makes a rude sound at her, which surprises her and Dan, yet she jumps at him saying, "Let's play." The horse refuses to to play with her. Then she wonders what's wrong with him. Les says sorry he doesn't like to play and he makes a rude sound again. Just then, she understands what's wrong with him, so she walks up to him, pats him gently and says the horse likes to play. But he doesn't like anyone he doesn't know to get close to him. Now Les realizes what's wrong with him. Dan is surprised that a horse can behave like that. Les moves close and pats him saying, sorry, I didn't know you're protecting yourself. Then Dan and Nima sit on a white horse named Hugh. The horses move them around the stable. Nima enjoys seeing the animals as they eat. She sees a giant boar digs the ground to find what to eat. Just as in some baby giant boars see them and charge at them. Les says the baby boars like to play, but they can still hurt her. She becomes afraid, so they begin to move fast, and the boars run after them. Suddenly, the animal leader stops, makes a sound at them to go back, and they went back. Nima says thank him for saving them, and he smiles. Later, Les shows them wakas, saying they are the fastest animal on land. She is amazed and shouts, I want to ride on one. Les says no, they can move too fast, so you need training to ride on it. She disagrees, shouting again, I want to ride on wakas. Then, Les puts her on a wakas and ties a rope together with him so she can be safe. He also teaches her how to hold it so she won't stop while they move. She's so excited and says, wakas, move as fast as you can, not listening to Les telling her they can really be fast. He wonders why she's not scared at all. The wakas begins to run very fast and she becomes afraid, thinking she might get hurt. Seeing that, Les stops the wind with magic. She's surprised when the wind stops, while Les says sorry. I forgot to use magic to stop the wind before we move. She wonders if that's true. He makes the wakas runs faster, making Nima more afraid. When they got down, she could hardly walk or open her eyes. She cries, regretting riding on the wakas. Dan laughs at her, which makes her angry. At the same time, they see a bird flying and Les whistles at it. The bird rests on his hand. Nima is amazed. The bird is a greyhawk, which can be used to send letters. She wishes she had one too. He replies, yes, you can come again. At first, she feels disappointed, but then she tells Dan, let's go see the dragon leader. Soon, Les meets his subordinates. They report to him that one rare animal had escaped from the stable, but they are trying to look for him. He says, go and get ready. We will find it together. So they leave. He remembers all that happened that day, from animal escaping to the animal stable leader liking Nima, and the wakas easily agrees to his orders because of her. Though jealous, he says, I have to find the animal that escaped first. Just then, Nima appears sitting on the lost animal with Lars beside her. She tells Les that she found him on her way. When she was going back from the dragon stable with Lars, Les then realizes Nima is truly a special girl, like Dan told him. He tells her to tell him first if she finds any lost animal again. She happily says okay and hugs the animal, making Les more jealous, and wishes he could also have such power to be loved by animals like Nima. Up next at Nima house, it's her birthday, so her parents ask her to say a wish. She says, I want to go to the city. Her dad's shocked, saying no, it's not safe. His wife says she will be safe if someone goes with her. Nima says, let me go with my sister. Yet he says no. Then his wife asks her male servant to go with them. Then Dad agrees they will be safe with him. In the city, they head to the market to buy things. Nima's so happy being her first time coming to the city. She admires people and things around. The city looks so beautiful. Her sister is also happy to go to the city with her. She runs, saying, let's go buy things, and they follow her. She gives her some coins and tells her things she can buy with it. She then heads to the turkey shop herself. She rides back to where her sister and servant are and gives one turkey to each of them. She also gives one to Dee as her birthday treat, and the male servant offers to help him remove the bones. Just then, she smells something nice. It's snacks. The male servant tells her it's called Pepe. She quickly runs off to get 3. The seller says, what a cute girl. If you buy 20, you get 3 for free. She says, please make it 4 so I can give Dee 2. She agrees, saying 24 is for 1 coin. She buys it and returns to her sister. Karna says this is too much, but she says, I got some for Dad and Mum. Impressed, she hugs her tightly, saying, you're such a sweet girl. She feels uncomfortable, so male servant says be careful, and she tells her sorry. Later, they stop by at a cafe her sister visits anytime she comes to the city. Some girls having drinks there call her name, and she greets them. She tells them she came with her sister to buy things in the city. One of them says, I heard about her. She doesn't look like her parents, and she has black eyes. That makes Nima feel bad, but her sister replies, you are fools not to see how wonderful my sister is. Then, she says she cannot be friends with people who insult her sister, and so leaves with Nima. She feels happy her sister defends her. At home, Karna asks her if she's tired, but she says she's fine, still feeling happy about what happened at the cafe. She opens her room, only to see her dad and brother shout, happy birthday, Nima. They plan a surprise party for her. The royal family are also there. She's shocked because she wasn't expecting it. The king comments that the plan went well, as she clearly seems surprised. She's so touched and cries. The king says, oh, we made the little princess cry. The prince moves close, saying, you are ugly when you cry. She says, shut up, and he smiles. His dad says, everyone let's eat, so the party continues. The queen gives her a gift, and she opens. In it is a necklace with magic stones. She's surprised to see the gifts. All the people she's met in the palace give her gifts like clothes, shoe, hat. Dan also got her a hair clip from the dragon's scales? He says it's from the neck scale where the dragons hated being touched, but they let him because of her. She's amazed, saying, I'll pat their head when we see. Les gives her a rainhopper, the strongest and cleverest bird. He puts it on her shoulder, and she admires it, saying it's so fluffy. He reminds her how she admires the Greyhawk that day, but it's too big for her, so she can keep the Rainhawk instead. She receives more gifts, like writing materials so she won't forget to study. She's amazed, saying this is the best birthday ever. At night, she reflects on how her day went. The Rainhawk rests on her shoulder. Then she realizes she hasn't named her, so she names her Nox, saying, let's be great friends. Next morning, Nox is flying in the sky. As Nima calls her name, she comes and rests on her hand, which impresses Dan and Les. Les suggests she train her again the next day. Sadly, she has to start studying and will not have time. At home, the next day, Nima had started reading when Marjace brought in her teacher, saying, you'll start lessons with her today. She enters and introduces herself. I am Anna. She admires her makeup, clothes, and hair, saying what a picture-perfect lady. She's happy. Such a lady will be her teacher, while Marjace leaves to go get some tea ready. After Anna tells her she will first teach her manners because Marjace told her she calls her parents' names without respect, which is wrong. She just nods silently without upping a proper response. Then she hits her. She looks at her angrily for hitting her, ignoring her expression. Anna tells her she has to be more respectful as a noble lady. Marjace enters and assumes they are getting along. Meanwhile, Nima disliked her already, but she couldn't say it to her face. She hits her anytime she teaches her, and she makes her cry like a baby. Anyways, Anna's relieved that she's improving. She taught her brother and sister, and now they are doing well. She says, I will also teach you to become like them. At night, she feels really weak and wonders if Anna beat her brother and sister like that when she was teaching them. She thought of telling her dad about it, but she knows he might fight Anna and stop her from teaching her. Then she tells Nox, I will find a way to stop her from hitting me myself. The next morning in her house, Anna scolds her again, but she just smiles and says thanks for teaching me. At first, she's surprised at her behavior, but replies, good, you understand. Meanwhile, she faked her smile just to avoid being hit again. And that day, she teaches her without hitting her. At night, while at home, after eating, Nima leaves without cleaning her plate, which is unlike her, so everyone is worried. Her mom follows her and asks if she's ill so she can call a doctor, but she says she's fine. When her mom insists on calling a doctor, she runs, saying nothing's wrong with me. Unexpectedly, Ralph catches her making her angry and asks him to let her go. He smiles, saying, think of what you will tell mom instead. Unknown to her, her mom is in front of her, making her shocked. Mom reveals she knows about Anna hitting her and asks why she didn't want to tell her. She says you needs to get along with Anna, even though she's hard to impress, but you can challenge her if you come to know her well. She listens as she advises, learning from Anna is the best way to impress her. She asks, can I really get along with her? Mom winks and says yes. Ralph says, I will help you. He holds her hand and warms her up with magic, making her feel warm and lighter. He says he will heal her again if she feels weak, but will not interfere in her matter with Anna so she can learn to grow into a noble lady. She blushes. Mom says we won't tell Dad, so go challenge Anna. She smiles and says yes. At the same house 1 year later, she's learned so much, which surprises her dad. He says, I can't believe how much you've learned in just a year. She replies, thanks to Madame Anna. Though Nima admires her again now, she just feels something isn't right with her, and she wonders why. Then, she remembers her mom's once said to know her well. She decides to ask Paul more about her. Paul gives her a book, saying he finds out some of her relatives are from the church, which reminds her of the priest she saw in the palace who lies about God's words. She assumes that's why she isn't feeling right with her. Next day at her house, as Anna's teaching her, she asks her of the next city suffering drought. Anna tells her the drought leads to lack of food, so they ask the king and church to help. In the end, the king and other 2 countries helped. She asks why the church didn't help, and she replies that they believe the city angered God. So if they help, it will be against God's will. She asks if she's sure the drought is from God. She replies that God shows their priest that they angered him. She asks again why God will kill the people he created with drought and dried. She answers they keep beast people in their city and so might be doing bad things secretly. She listens as she asks if she's met anyone from the city. She says no, they can be scary. Now she realizes Anna is not sure about this. She just believes what the priest says. Angry, she calls her rude for believing the city angered God. She feels insulted and very annoyed, lifting her cane and then hits her, leaving a mark on her left cheek. Nima, who's always feels this is not right, challenge her. She raises voice, saying, I don't want to be a person like you who talks bad about people you haven't met. Anna seems confused. Ashamed, she says, let's not talk about this again. After all, we are ladies. She replies, I don't want to talk about fashion and shopping like other ladies. Men talk about things like this. Do you want me to stay silent among them like a doll? Anna says you can just nod when they talk. She disagrees, saying it's rude not to give proper response. She asks, how do ladies talk among men? Now she's too confused to think, so she runs out. Nima lays her head on the table smiling. She feels she has challenged her, and now she will not hit her again. She walks to the window and calls Nox, feeling good as she pats her. Afterwards, her dad is so angry when he sees the mark on her cheek, shakes, but Nima tells him she's fine. Still, he warns Anna not to hit her again. She apologizes and says let me continue teaching her. She teaches her other things like music and sewing. Nima enjoys the lessons and also has time to visit the horse stable, and the animal leader let her play him and allow her ride on him with Les. Up next, at her house, Dad tells Nima he will follow him on a journey to see the northern land which his family is in charge of, now that she's 5. He tells her she will see and learn new things, so she's happy and says, I will like to go. Soon, in the palace, they stand in a room where they will use transportation magic to travel. While they stand on the magic device, her dad says we're ready, so the device is activated, showing light. He shouts Arsenta and the light stops. Nima is surprised because it seems nothing has changed around them. Just then, 3 men appear saying welcome. The old man says, I am Warnus, the proxy lord here. They move close to them and she introduces herself. Impressed, he says, welcome to Arsenta. They lead them to the door and she rushes to open it. She watches horses and snow falling and says, wow. She walks out and snow covers her. Her dad carries her and uses magic to warm her up. He tells her she needs to dress properly to prevent colds. Then she wears socks and a coat, feeling so warm. Dad says now, we can continue the journey by carriage. As they move, she's so excited. Later, she dreams playing with fluffy animals with her dad as she sleeps. They move into the city. When she wakes, Dad tells her about the city, saying even though the cold is much, crops survive, and each region also finds a way to adapt to the cold. Meanwhile, she wishes the city would have yummy things and rare animals. They arrived at a mayor's house in the city. Dad appreciates them, saying thanks for accepting us to your home. Around there is no cold, and she wonders why. She enjoys the food that was served to them, saying it's delicious. The chef is glad she likes it, serving her more. Then her dad reveals they're going to the forest tomorrow, and she will go with them. He says the people tell him monsters are in the forest, and he wants to go and see himself. He asks her to call Dragon Soul. She's surprised and asks, what will I tell him? Dad says Saul knows a lot about monsters and might be a guide to them. She happily replies, I will ask him. Then she calls Saul. He replies, and that makes her excited. She explains, I travel here with my dad where monsters are killing people. Do you know? He asks, where? Dad says the Needle Frost Forest. Saul asks what type of monsters mounts, and he mentions goblins, kobolds, and sometimes frost spiders. She reports what Saul tells her to Dad, that monsters are not meant to be there. Dad is curious and then gathers the knights of the city. They ask themselves why monsters will appear in the city. Dad is surprised when Nima says it might be God's doing. She thinks God wants her to do something about it, but can't tell her dad. He agrees and says, I think so too. We'll go to see the forest tomorrow. Still in Arsenta at the mayor's house, Nima is ready to go to the forest with some knights and her dad. Her dad appreciates the mayor for hosting them, while she gets her protective pendant and knife ready to use for the forest tour. Just then, Nox flies towards her and rests on her hand. She says to her, you go with us to the forest. Dad warns everyone to be careful when they get to the forest. Now in the forest, the old man who has been hunting there for many years leads them. Nima follows silently. After a while, Dad says, let's rest. The old man tells him they can eat now. Suddenly, they hear a sound near a tree and are afraid. One soldier moves closer to the tree, cuts it, and sees a rabbit nearby. He turns back, saying, it's just a rabbit. Nima moves close to see and wonders why he's not moving. Just then, it flies away. She's surprised that the rabbit runs away from her. The knight says, let's go. Monsters may come if they smell blood of the rabbit. She thinks the rabbit is hurt, and so runs off to look for him. Dad calls her, but she ignores, saying, sorry, Dad, I can't leave the rabbit hurt. Luckily, she finds him. The rabbit looks at her as she moves closer to him. He then jumps into her hand. She thinks he might hurt her, but he smiles at her. Then, she assumes he ran away at first because of the knight. She's happy animals still like her. Just then, she hears a sound. She looks up and sees a web that makes her disappear. A knight looking for her sees her cap. When she opens her eyes, she sees many monsters. The monsters are goblins, and she's really scared as one of them moves towards her. She thinks, now I'm in big trouble. He tries to collect the rabbit from her, but she refuses, saying, don't eat it. He stops, and she thinks he can hear her. Then she asks, why do you bring me here? The goblins just stare at her, and she says they are cute, but then she remembers they are monsters. They take her away into a cave. Meanwhile, everyone's looking for her. The old man discovers she's taken by a monster, and Dad feels sad. Inside the cave, Nima's shocked seeing 2 kids like her there. They ask if she got caught by the monsters. She replies, yes. The girl says, we got caught too. Nima says her name, and the boy also says, I'm Pino, and my sister is Nino. He tells her some adults also got caught with them, but they are somewhere they don't know. At this point, Nima calls Saul for help, saying, some goblins kidnapped me. I'm in a cave with some other people. I need to escape with them. Can you fight the goblins for me using fire magic? Saul says, if I attack them, the fire will affect you and others. Saul suggests she use her magic to fight them. Afraid, she says, no, I don't have magic. Just then, her stomach makes a sound that surprises Pino and Nino. She says, sorry, I can't help it. I am hungry. Nino's stomach also makes a sound, and Nima realizes she's hungry too, but she's shy to admit it. Surprisingly, Pino's stomach makes a sound too, making Nino and Nima laugh. Nima decides to find a way to get them food. She gives the rabbit to Nino. Then she turns to go while the 2 watch her. Unexpectedly, she meets a goblin on her way, and they are both shocked. She tells him, "Sorry, we're hungry. Do you have anything we can eat?" The goblin brings out a fruit from his bag, which surprises her. She collects it and eats. It tastes bitter, and she cries, saying, "My tongue feels strange." The goblin removes the skin of the fruit and gives her it again to eat. This time it tastes sweet, and she's happy. Remembering Pino and Nino, she asks the monster for more, which he gives her. She wonders how she will remove the skin of the fruits. Then she remembers she has a knife. She uses it to peel it while the goblins watch. One monster does the same using wood. She says, "Let's peel more." And before she knows it, they become friends. She assumes her power works on monsters too. Now she remembers her dad will be looking for her, and if he finds the goblins, he will kill them. She asks them, "Why are you all here?" One of them replies, but she can't hear him, only a sound. She checks what it is, and she's shocked to see a giant goblin who can talk. The giant goblin asks the small goblins, "Why is she here?" He tells them not to bring kids there again. Then Nima boldly says, "Wait, I have questions for you. Are you their leader?" He replies, "Yes." "Why are goblins taking kids?" He says, "Because goblins like kids, and they are just trying to protect you and the other kids." She wonders why they caught her when she's not even lost. So she asks again, "Why do you attack humans?" He replies, "To stay alive." She asks, "You were not here before. Why here now?" He explains that humans chased them from their home, and that's why they came there. And not just them, but other monsters like orcs, ogres, and more. Sadly, the monsters who are weak die on the way, while others keep running to stay alive. She's disappointed it's humans' fault. She wonders how she's going to protect all of them. She asks, "Do you want to punish humans for what they did to you?" The leader says, "No, just to go back to our home." They want to be in the forest where they call their home and live their normal life. She feels it's not good they live in this forest and assumes it's better if all monsters live together. She asks the leader to come. He bends, and she whispers in his ear. Then she asks what he thinks. He asks, "Is it okay to kill humans?" She says yes, if it's a fight to stay alive. She informs him that Dad will come looking for her and might kill the goblins if he sees them. She says we need to plan to stop him. Back in the cave, her friends eat the fruits she brought happily. They ask, "Can we get out of here?" She says, "Yes, the goblins agree to let us go. My dad should be on his way here. He will help us if we run out." Nino asks why they have to run. "Can't we just wait here for him?" When she says, "I want to save the goblins," the two are shocked. She says her dad will kill them if he enters the cave, but she's got a plan to change his mind. She asks Nino and Pino to pretend that some monsters are chasing them. Then her dad will find them outside the cave, and that will give her a chance to talk with him first. Pino says, "No, we can't do that. I can't put Nino in danger." She promises to protect them with magic, but he still says, "No, it will be scary for her." Just then, Nino says, "I will do it since this will save everyone." He tells Pino, "Nima is doing this for us even though she's younger and she already said we will be safe. Let's trust her." Nima's so happy and hugs her. Then Pino also agrees to help. Seeing the cave, Dad and others plan to enter. He tells them to make sure Nima is safe. Nino and Pino cry for help as the monster runs after them. At first, they hide. Dad instructs the soldiers to save them. She says Dad would save them, hearing with Soul's magic. Pino and Nino keep running until they see the knights and run to them, so the goblins run back. Dad tells the knights, "Go after them." Nima feels they won't want to attack the cave at once because they will think people are inside. The goblins run into the cave and their leader appears. Knights are shocked to see the giant goblin. He says, "Go away, humans." Dad comes, producing fire magic. It shocks Nima to see him that way. He says, "Return Nima to us," and he throws a fireball at the goblin leader. However, the monster isn't hurt because Nima's protecting him with Soul's magic. Dad recognizes it and says, "Come out, Nima. I know you are there." She asks her dad, "Will you use fire magic again?" Her dad replies, "I will not." Then she comes out and says, "I'm sorry." Dad says, "Come, hug me." She runs to him and he carries her. Dad gives a sign to the knights to attack the monster. She's aware and quickly tells Saul to protect him. With that, he's safe. She comes down and tries to protect him. She says, "I won't let you kill him." Dad asks why. She says it's humans' fault they are here because they keep chasing them. She begs her dad to listen to her and he replies, "Okay, if you insist, I will leave them." She's so happy to hear that. Then she asks Pino and Nino if they are okay, and they reply, "We are fine." At that moment, Nox appears, shouting in the sky. She understands Nox is trying to tell her there's danger close by. She sees red eyes. Remembering her dad said there are dangerous monsters in the forest, she asks Soul for light to see. Her dad and the knights gather round her. Then a monster appears. Nino's scared. Her dad says it's a frost spider. They all stand there looking at it. The spider keeps looking at them. Dad asks Nima to come to him to keep her safe. Strangely, she could feel the spider is panicking and hungry. She wonders why she is like that. Goblin leader moves close to her. Nima wants to follow him to help, but her dad stops her, saying, "Let him fight her himself." Spider attacks him, but he dodges and gives it a blow. The fight becomes serious, and that makes Nima nervous. It breaks a rock and cut a tree. He strangles her neck. Spider pushes him away, vomiting green liquid from his mouth. Then he flies up, which amazes everyone. Spider looks up as he falls towards her, holding his fist to hit her. It falls on it and smashes his head. Goblin leader jumps away from it, breathing hard. He thinks he won, but the spider isn't died. He watches her as she flies and landed on him. Nima's worried knowing her dad might burn them down if Goblin leader loses, so they won't attack humans. Now, only the strongest of them will survive this. She's shocked to see blood flows as the goblin tries to lift up the spider. He keeps trying until he was able to lift it and managed to throw her away. He breathes heavily, saying it's all thanks to Soul's magic that Nima puts on him. Then light shines in the sky and she feels the spider is panicking again. She wonders why she feels that way. Just then light shines on her hand as Spider faces her and says, "Help me protect my baby." The baby spider moves around. Then Nima realizes that the spider panics because she was hungry, and since the goblins arrive in the forest, she couldn't get much to eat. Nima cries after realizing she's also suffered because goblins come to the forest. She moves close to her, kneels and prays to God to let her live in peace if she goes to a new world. Her dad moves closer to her. She tells him, "I understand now that only the strongest can survive in war, and I can't change that." Her dad hugs her. She wishes it was possible to save her. She cries, regretting, "Why don't I try to save her?" Everyone's surprised she cries because Spider dies. Now Nima's determined to become stronger so she can help all living things live happily where they belong. Her dad tells her to calm down and cleans her tears. Suddenly, Goblin leader body begins to shine. Everyone is shocked, hiding their face. The lights stop, and when they look, he's turned into a grown guy with horns. They are really shocked to see him. Dad says he must have evolved, and she imagines what that is. He's confused too. Dad, he asks, "Are you a hobgoblin?" He replies, "Yes." Nima says, "Let me ask Saul about this." Speaking with Saul, he says hobgoblin is the strongest type of goblin, so he can't evolve. She's confused, saying why does he look like human and has horns? Saul says, "I only know about one Oni who lives in Wajite who has human body and horns. I will come check out the goblin myself tomorrow." Suddenly, Dad realizes Goblin leader is naked. He covers Nima's eyes and tells the knights to give him clothes. She moves closer and asks him to bend. She helps him button up his shirt and then hugs him, saying thank you for saving us. Dad gets angry with this, saying get away from him now. She moves back while the baby spider crawls to her. She bends and asks, "Will you come with me or live here in the forest?" She jumps on her and nods. She admires her and named her Gracia, meaning thanks, saying your mum makes me stronger. Her forehead shines, showing a mark. Still in the forest. Morning comes. Nima cleans her face with water and feeling good, she wipes it off with a small towel. Then she overhears Goblin leader telling other goblins to gather the spider parts. She comes to him and asks, "Will you free the human adults you hide now?" He says yes. "We don't need them." She happily thanked him. Pino and Nino comes out of the cave and greets her. She tries to remove what's Pino's head, but she tells her not to worry. Nino's stomach makes a sound again to show she's hungry. Then Nima tells them, "Let's go eat breakfast there." One knight brings the rabbit to her, saying he's all better now. She thanked him, amazed that the knight's healing magic worked perfectly. On the rabbit, her dad comes to her saying, "Nima, you are so smart. You know how to care for pets, but you can't keep this rabbit. He can only survive in the forest. Because he's a wild animal. You know, it's just like how drop of water troubles water. It will trouble our world if you take him home. And this might change things in our world because he doesn't belong there. Those things can end up affecting us, so we need to be careful not to do things that can change how things are naturally meant to be." Nima is amazed and thinks she already has all she needs. Her dad is a ways there for her, and on top of it, she can use Soul's magic. She let the rabbit go, saying, "We will play next time." She waves at it, thinking she will be lonely, then Nox rested on her head. She then realizes the baby spider she kept and removes it, which made her dad shocked. He says, "Why do you keep a monster?" Goblin leader comes and asks her if she knows difference between animals and monsters. She says yes, the way they think, which Dan tells her before. Goblin leader is surprised, saying is that what humans thinks about monster. He then explains monster are like incomplete animals, and that's why most are weak. He says monster can only be stronger if they are named by someone powerful, as the spider also has a name, which makes her powerful. Meanwhile, such monster can use magic. She asks, "What is your name?" and he replies, "I don't have one." Nima is shocked, saying, "But you are strong." Baby spider crawls to his shoulder. He says he has a mark on his forehead, which means he has a name. Nima says, "I name her Gracia." Dad says since you named her, we'll take her home. She happily collects it from him. One knight comes and tells Dad they are ready to leave. He says, "Let's go." Before leaving, Nima asks Soul to cast a protective magic. Goblin leader warns them not to come out as he won't be there to help. They wave at him as he leaves. Finally, they are in the village and are welcomed by the villagers. Dad asks where Pino and Nino comes from, and they tell him Iregia. He says we will take you there safely, signaling to two servants who will follow them. Nima tells them to be careful. Nino looks sad. Then she whispers something to Pino's ears. Pino asks, "Can you tell her yourself?" She is nervous while talking, and Nima wonders what she wants to say. Pino pushes Nino towards her, but she is still nervous to talk. She faces her, still shy. Suddenly Finally, she speaks up, saying, "Why don't you come to our house sometimes to play?" She hugs her, saying, "I will come." Next day, she is so happy to see Saul appears. She hugs him while her dad and Knights watch. She also pats him while he talks to her about Goblin Leader. But she isn't listening. Rather, she wishes she could sleep on Saul. Saul shouts her name, and she got scared and fell off him. Goblin Leader comes to carry her. Then Saul says he is not an Onai because he can see spirit. He shows her his hand, and 2 bug light appears. He asks, "How can I use it?" Saul says, "I will teach you." She wonders what he can use as a target. One Knight then uses his magic to create a clay doll he will use as target. Nima thanked him. She asks Goblin Leader to defeat the doll. Everyone is shocked as it completely falls apart. Saul says all Goblin Leader did was tell the fire spirit in him to defeat the clay doll. She asks, "Can you talk to other spirits as well?" And he nods. He uses the wind, water, and earth spirit magic too. She says this will be useful for our plan. Her dad overhears. He asks what plan. She says to get human and monsters to live peacefully together. Her dad is amazed and says, "I will help you." Then she thinks of a name to call Goblin Leader, and she says, "Shinky." She is shocked when his forehead shines and a mark appears. Her dad worries, and she says, "I didn't mean to name him." Saul says she has more servants now. She imagines God likes it that she's becoming powerful now. She tells Shinky, "Sorry, I give you name without asking him first." Goblin Leader bows, saying, "I and other goblins will be your servants, and because you name me, you're my master." She wonders if that's okay, though she feels good to have him around. At the mayor's house, Nima tells Dad she plans to get a new place for all monsters to live since most of them lost their homes. Then they can find a place on a mountain no one lives. When they become many, it can be used as training area for adventurers, while the adventurers and monsters train together without harming themselves. She asks Dad what he thinks. He says monsters might kill humans. She replies they will all have to fight to stay alive. He says, "I will think about what best we can do." She thanks her dad and thinks of getting a place for the monsters. In the next scene, Dad says they are going to check out the next town, and Goblin Leader will go with them because his spirit magic will be of help. He says he's worried about other goblins. Then he suggests they use his spirit's magic to protect them. And Nima can name one goblin to be stronger so he can protect the cave with the spirits. He says, "Nima is our master now because she named me." But she says, "Don't call me master, call me lady." And he agrees. Up next, at the cave, they are with the next strongest goblin after Goblin Leader. Nima's surprised she's a girl and she talks. Goblin Leader says she may also evolve like him after few hunting. She imagines how she will look like if she evolves. She holds her hand and thinks of a name for her. Then she asks, "What do you like?" She looks around and points to a flower. Then she names her Suzuko, a flower name. She repeats the name, and then a mark shows on her forehead. Then a goblin comes and holds Goblin Leader's hand. He bows to Nima and asks her give him the new goblin a name too. Suzuko says no, he's weak. Nima asks why does he needs a name. Goblin Leader's replies he needs to be strong to protect his family, but he is weak and might not be strong even if he's named. She feels sorry for him and says, "If you keep this promise, I will give you a name. You must be able to kill a giant boar before I come again. I know you are small and can die doing that." He agrees. Then she thinks of a name. She names him Tuki, which means fighting ogre. He's happy, and a mark also appears on her forehead. She holds his hand, saying, "Let's do our best." As they return, she tells Goblin Leader how she became close with Soul. He says, "Many people and animals like you." She says yes, picturing in her mind people and animals she has met. She says, "I love them all." He tells her he had an older brother but died while humans chased them. She pats him, saying, "Don't worry, you're my friend now." After, the Knights, Dad, Nima, and Goblin Leader heads to the next town in a carriage. Then Dad tells Goblin Leader to tell him what he saw on their way when they were leaving their forest. He replies, "On our way, we see 3 big mountains and a very rough river." Dad marks that on his paper and thanked him. He had also marked other places people reported they saw monsters. He assumes the sudden appearance of monsters might truly be caused by humans, though he isn't sure, but he will find out. He turns to Nima and says, "I will return home after this journey." She's disappointed. Then he says Ralph will come to represent me. She's happy. Dad says she will meet him in the next city. They finally arrive in the town, and they were welcomed by the villagers. While they talk, Nima left without telling anyone. She saw an adventurer's guild hall and decides to check it out with Goblin Leader. He opens the door and they enter. A lady welcomes them, and when she sees Goblin Leader, she says beast people are not allowed here. She's shocked to hear him call Nima a kid my lady. Then she says, "Can you take us around the hall? I never see one before." The lady agrees to show them around the hall. She says, "My name is Belle." She replies, "I'm Nima." She also tells her Goblin Leader name Shinky. She takes them to the private reception and explains, "We give quests to our adventurers here because it has magic to stop adventurer from overhearing each other's quest. Since more than one adventurer can take a job, some pretend they finish a quest somebody as did just to get their reward, so the guild stopped that using magic." She thinks it's good they stop it. Just then one man stands up shouting. He questions a guild staff why an adventurer will get 3 times paid just to kill goblins. He then reveals that the mayor raised the pay because his son will be taking the quest. He also accused mayor of keeping money meant for the people to himself. Nima asks Belle who is this man, and she says he is Heelran, Conran, the town's accountant, good at his job, but he always complains about the mayor's wrongdoings. She assumes the town isn't fighting wrongdoing properly. When Belle tells her the accountant is from the palace, she jumps down to meet him. As he keeps arguing, Nima draws his cloth and says, "Can you tell me more about the mayor?" He replies, "I have no time for children." She's disappointed and says, "I just want to help." Accountant bends to her and asks, "How do you want to help?" She runs back and says, "My dad is the country's prime minister. I can help you tell him about the mayor." Everyone is shocked to know she was given a cup of coffee. Chairman says, "Sorry, I was rude earlier." She asks him to tell me more about the town mayor. He says she's a kid, can't understand. She smiles, saying, "I come here with my dad to look into this town." Then he begins, "Truly, monsters have been attacking, but our town has few attacks. However, the mayor reports that it's many, so he could get lots of money for himself from the king." She's amazed and asks if he tells the knight no about it. He replies, "We called them, but they were busy with other things." She asks, "Can you swear on your name as a proof?" He stands up and says yes. She asks, "What are the knights busy with when you called them?" He replies, "Somewhere in the town, there were report of dangerous monsters called kobolds attacking people, so they are busy fighting the monsters." Hearing that, Nima imagines they will have a leader, and so she can be able to talk with them. Then she tells the accountant to come with her to see her dad. She asks Goblin Leader to talk with the goblins in the town to join him. He agrees to go. Then she goes to the window to call her bird, who also follows her. She gives her a letter to take to her dad as she flies away, and she says, "Make sure dad come to the mayor's house." Belle offers to take her to the mayor's house. Nima says, "Okay, let's go." Across the town, Belle tells her the mayor as being in office for 15 years. Accountant says he starts stealing money 5 years ago. Belle asks how he knows, and he says, "I checked past records and see faults in the calculations." She is impressed that he does his job so well. They got to the mayor's house, her dad and knights already waiting. Clearly, dad is angry that she left without telling him. She says, "Sorry, I worried you. I went to see the adventurer hall." Dad, still angry, says she behaved wrongly. She feels bad that he makes dad angry like that. She admits she's been troubling dad's work in the town. She even left without going with her guards, and this may put them into trouble. She feels so bad about this and cries. Unexpectedly, her brother appears and carries her. Though she's happy to see her brother, she keeps crying. Then someone cleans her eyes in a rude way. Turns out it's the prince, and she's shocked to see him. Dad and the knights bow to greet the prince. He asks them to stand up. Dad asks him why he's here, and he says, "I came for business, so I thought to come play with Nima when her brother told me she's with you." Dad turns to Nima and asks, "Who are these people with you?" She introduces them, saying this town accountant and Belle from the adventurer hall. "They come to see you." Dad asks why. An accountant replies, "I want to tell you about the town mayor stealing the citizens' money." Dad's shocked, saying, "Let's talk inside." At the mayor's house, he welcomes them happily. Dad says, "These people," pointing to accountant and Belle, says, "You stole the town's money. Is it true?" And he was able to prove him wrong. Mayor tries to cover up himself, but Dad shouts at him to stop. Then he was arrested by the Adventurer Guild. Belle thanked Dad as he's being taken away. Now Nima can pat Lars and enjoy with Ralph and Will. In the mayor's house, Dad thanks everyone, especially accountant, for saying mayor's wrongdoing. He asks him, "Will you work with me in the palace?" He replies, "No." Nima then says, "You and Belle can come work for me." They're curious, so Dad explains, Nima's working on a plan, which is a bit risky. And for me to explain more, you all have to swear on your names. The prince is the first to swear, saying, "I will not tell anyone." Then everyone did the same. After, Dad explains Nima's plan to get all monsters to live in one place to them. She looks nervous, awaiting their responses. Prince says it's a nice idea. Her brother is impressed that even monsters listen to her. Dad then puts her brother in charge of the plan, and he gladly accepts. Prince also offers to help her, but Dad says he might be busy. He says, "I can help while I still do my work." Belle and the accountant also agrees to work with her. Just then, she hears a sound, making her aware Goblin Leader is back. He enters and reports that the town goblins agreed to join him. Nima introduces the Goblin Leader to her brother, saying he is once a monster before he evolves. Her brother is scared, but Dad tells him he's Nima's bodyguard now. Goblin Leader tells Nima more. He says the town goblins are led by a giant goblin like him. At first, they refuse to join him. He fights them and won them over as his servants. Now his light bugs lead them to the cave where his goblins are. She asks Dad if the knights are able to defeat the kobolds. However, the knight leader says there are many kobolds and they are powerful. Also, a very dangerous monster called Werbiaste led them. He explains that they ask the Adventurer Guild for help and they will be going together with them to fight the kobolds. She asks who will be in charge. He replies, "I heard that it's a regional commander who used to work at central headquarters before he was asked to come work in the town." Dad wonders who puts the regional commander in charge. Then Belle offers to check the Adventurer Guild to know who chose him. The prince wonders why she would do that, and so realizes that the Adventurer Guild can spy on each other, which might get their plan exposed. However, his brother assures them that all will be fine since the king will always be there to help. Dad then suggests they call their enemy's name, only they understand. He says, "Let's call them Runohark." Dad tells the knight, I will go back home tomorrow, but my son, Ralph, will continue checking out the towns. Make sure you protect him and others. They promise they will. Nima is touched, and she thanks them. She asks her dad if she can go with them to fight the kobolds. He says, I know I can't stop you. Dad asks her to go to sleep. She runs to Lars and says, let's sleep together. Her brother says, no, come sleep with me, but she refuses and says, I will sleep with Goblin Leader instead. They pretend they have something to ask Goblin Leader. In the room, she brings out the baby spider and puts her on Lars. That night, she hopes they will go to fight the kobolds. Next day, Prince, Nima, and her brother are on their way to the town where kobolds attack. Prince suggests they call Nima's plan a name. Her brother says, let's call it Operation Get Along with Monster, but Prince says it's long. He then asks Prince to suggest a name, and he says, Shiana's Project. Shiana means strength and courage as he sees God is helping Nima. Nima denies, saying no, he isn't. Prince mentions Lars, Saul, Goblin Leader, and Baby Spider likes her, and that's because God brought them to her. She says God loves everybody and not just me. Prince agrees, saying he might like us because we were born in a royal family. Meanwhile, she thinks God likes him more to have given him Lars. At home, Nima's sister is annoyed that Dad did not come home with Nima. He tells her Ralph and others are with her. However, Mum knows Nima didn't come because she's planning to do something there. Dad's surprised she knows. Dad tells them about Nima's plan. Annoyed, her sister wishes those using the monster to attack people get punished. Mum says she looks like Dad anytime she's annoyed. Meanwhile, she's impressed by Nima's plan and offers to gather adventurers that will be training in the monster's area. Then she tells her dad she would like to go see Nima. Dad tells her Nima already got a lot of people helping her. Mum suggests they hire bodyguards from the Adventurer Guild as she receives a letter. That one Uncle Philip will be coming to see them soon. Dad says Philip is an adventurer who teaches him how to fight when he was also an adventurer. He says he would teach Karna how to fight monsters. However, Karna did not argue with him as he thinks Dad wants her to be able to protect herself when an enemy attacks. She agrees to take this on so she can become stronger to protect Nima. Now, to Nima and other arrive in the town, kobolds are attacking people. Her brother tells her to be careful as the place might be dangerous, while the night leaders tells the town gate guards about their arrival. Requesting they allow them enter the town, the guards open the gate for them and Goblin Leader drove the carriage in. The night leader says the guard captain wants to meet Prince. He left with Ralph. Captain Guard introduces himself as Dylan. He says the area is being attacked by dangerous monsters so they can't stay. Ralph says, my dad, the Prime Minister sent me to check out this town, so he says he will take them to the Proxy Lord. Prince and Ralph are happy that the captain believed them so quickly. Next, in the Proxy Lord's house, they meet with the Proxy Lord. Nima wonders who the old man beside the Lord is. Then Proxy Lord says the knights couldn't win over the kobolds in their town, so they ask the Adventurers Guild to help them and they will move once Red Lotta party arrives. Nima thinks the party might be strong, but becomes nervous as the party might wipe out the kobold before she meets them, so she asks if she can look around the city. Her brother supports her by saying we need to look around. Prince also says the royal knights will protect us, so Lord allows them to go. In the middle of the city, as they walk around the street, they find some kids looking helpless and wonders why no one is helping them. Just then, Nima hear a sound. The knights run to where the sound comes from to check. Nima and the Goblin Leader follows. They see another kid standing together, and the knight asks what they are doing. Just then they see a dog they hurt, and Nima asks why they hurt him. One kid says, my dad tells me all dogs are enemies and that's why we beat the dog. She tells them what they did is wrong. But the boy says shut up and tries to beat Nima, but the knights get hold of his hands. Nima tells him it will be better if he protect the weak dog instead of harming him. Nima carries the dog and feels pity that he's so hurt. He asks if the boy is trying to protect other kids. He replies, what do you know? Nima tells him, if do what is right and become strong like knights, you will be able to protect what's important to you. The boy is touched. Then he says, I'm Belgar, son of an adventurer. I want to be strong like my dad to protect everyone. Nima says, I will remember you. Her brother uses his healing magic to heal the dog. He comes alive and tickles Nima's cheek. Nima asks the dog, where is your mummy? And he turns towards the forest. Then Goblin Leader tells her he's not a dog, he's a baby kobold. Everyone's shocked that he didn't hurt Nima. The prince says if she return it to his mother, the kobolds will attack her. Because they will think she kidnapped the baby kobold, Nima assures the baby kobold that everything will be fine. Then she says, let's go since Lars the Holy Beast us with us. The kobolds won't attack immediately. Her idea impressed everyone. Town Nima's group moves around the street. Then accountant says it's noon hour, but they never heard a bell rings according to the law. He says he has feeling that the town is trying to hide something, though he doesn't know what it is. Nima asks, do you want to find out? He says yes, so she tells him to stay behind in the town and inform her if anything happens. She thinks of leave some wind spirits with him in case of emergency. It was after this scene that they saw the kids beating a baby kobold and they decided to look for where the kobolds are hiding. Meanwhile, Nima is getting tired already. She feels like the road is getting longer, but seeing the baby spider and kobold get along makes her happy again. The baby monsters are moving too fast while playing that Nima almost fall, but Goblin Leader quickly carries her. Suddenly they hear a sound, and the knight goes searching. They are all shocked to see it's a slime making the sound. Nima assumes that it must be a famous monster. Then she says, "I want to touch it." Goblin Leader can hear the slime, and he tells her the slime is asking for help. Her parent is up ahead, and she wants them to save her. Nima becomes nervous, but her brothers say, "Follow your heart. We will protect you." Nima asks the slime to take them to her parent, and they follow. The knights say it might be dangerous ahead, so they move faster than everyone. They are shocked when they see a huge slime, which they assume she's parent slime. Knight Leader says it's his first time seeing one. Another knight says it's a large slime producing tiny ones. Nima assumes those colorful things on the huge slime are all baby slimes. The slime begins to move, and she tells her, "Don't move. It's not safe here." Goblin Leader says she cannot move as she will give birth soon. Prince adds, once she gives birth, she will be unable to move again. But if she won't give birth, if she lives inside someone, Nima feels scared and asks if she won't eat the person. Goblin Leader says if she likes the person, she won't eat him. Curious, Nima asks the huge slime, "Who among us do you like?" Goblin Leader, who can hear her, says she likes Nima. She asks if slime likes Goblin Leader. She answers no. Then he explains to her, slime will eat whatever you eat, and so you don't have to go to toilet, meaning all nutrients goes to the slime. The prince says the slime protection is a good one because the slime body doesn't get harmed by attack or magic. She asks huge slime, "Will you be okay if you live in me?" And she replies, "I will be fine." And she names the huge slime Shizuku. With that, light shines and a mark appears on the slime. She moves close to touch her. Just then, the huge slime enters Nima's mouth and she swallows it, which gets her amazed. She says, "I can feel the slime is alive inside me." Small slime begins to jump and Prince asks what they're going to do with her. Huge slime, and Nima tells her the small slime will be the next parent slime. So Nima decides to take her. She also names small slime Haku. Light shines and mark appears on her. She carries her wanting to pet her, but the prince collects the slime from her and pet her instead. One knight then tells Nima that they have to go before Kobold appears. Nima turns to baby Kobold and says, "Don't worry, we will find the other kobolds." After, she says, "Let's go, everyone." Inside the forest, Nima says, "Things look strange," and Prince agrees, saying, "Yes, it's like they are walking the same path for a long time, and they couldn't feel any magic around." Prince asks Holy Beast if he sense anything. He tells them, "Lars said not all things happen through magic or spirits. God's power also makes things happen." She whispers to the Holy Beast ear and bug spirits begin to move. The prince asks Nima why the spirits are moving like that, and she says it might be because something strange is in the forest, but they should just follow Holy Beast. She asks Goblin Leader to stay behind with baby Spider. They follow Holy Beast and bug spirits. Nima reminds Prince about who he once read about for her. She says that person may know about kobolds. Deep in the forest, there's a sanctuary where only those permitted may enter. Nima is amazed when she sees the sanctuary. A flashback reveals when Prince reads for her in a book that some animals long ago evolved into something that can protect a territory with special powers. The animals are called guardians now. Nima asks Holy Beast if she can go to the tree, and he says yes. Her brother tells her to be careful. She thanks him for always letting her do what she wants. Then she moves close to the tree and greets the guardian of the forest, saying, "My name is Nima. Sorry for troubling you." Guardian answers, and she's shocked. Someone speaks inside the tree. He says, "Your group has lots of special people, animals, and monsters. Who are you?" She thinks of what to say. She says, "I am Nima." He laughs. "What a strange child. What do you need from me?" Nima carries baby Kobold and says, "We are looking for the kobold hideout so we can return him to his mother." The guardian laughs, saying, "Sorry, I can't tell you." She asks why. He replies, "Humans chased the kobolds here, and it was a bad one. I pitied them," and decides to hide them in the forest from humans. Nima apologizes for humans and begs Guardian to tell them, as they also have something to tell kobolds. She says, "We want to move them to a different place because Lord of the Town planned to destroy them, and this may put you, Guardian, and other animals in danger." Guardian agrees he can't keep them forever. Nima promises to do everything she can to help them. Guardian then decides to tell her where kobolds hide, but warn her not to deceive him. Darkness comes and leaves moves. Guardian says if she deceive him, he will kill her. Nima says she might not save all of them, but she can swear on her name to do her best. Light shines again and part of forest opens. Guardian asks her to enter and she thanked him. Guardian says spirit bugs will tell them which way to go and tells Nima to come see him again. Just then, Nima says she thinks feeding monster might be a problem for her plan, like Guardian mentioned. He asks goblin leaders what goblins eat. He answers, "We eat anything." Her brother says kobolds eat anything too. Baby kobold begins to panic and her bird shouts in the sky. A bug then charges at Nima, but her bird flies in and kills the bug. They are all afraid, and her brother says it's a bug monster. Holy Beast, use magic to break the bug into pieces, and goblin leader says they can eat it. He roasted it, and everyone watches amazed. When it's done, he gives Holy Beast a big piece and also gives Nog. Nox, he asks Nima if she will eat. She feels she should try it out since huge slime in her won't allow it hurt her. After tasting, she says it tastes good like a fish and wishes she could have it with some drinks. She gives Baby Spider too, and Prince also eats it and says it tastes nice, then everyone eats it. Prince asks them how it tastes, and Ralph says it's not bad. Nima tells Holy Beast to hunt down any bug monster he sees, and the Knights too. Knight Leader asks why, and she says, I want to give them to kobolds. Then, Holy Beast, the Knights, and Nox begin to hunt down monster bugs. Moment later, they continue their journey in the forest. Just then, Baby Monster begins to smile, and Nima wonders why they stop and look forward only to see red-eyed monsters staring at them. Though nervous, Nima talks to them saying, Forest Guardian permits us and we've come to see your leader. But Goblin Leader tells her, kobolds say they can't trust us. Nima tells them she brings meat for them. Goblin Leaders reports what kobolds say, that they are going to talk with their leader so they can follow them. Holy Beast flies her up, and she's amazed when she sees the kobolds in their home and says, this place looks like heaven. I must surely include kobolds in my plan. Holy Beast landed in their home, and their leader appears asking what they want from them. Nima at first admires her look, saying she's pretty. Then she greets her and says, we came to return baby kobold we found in the city. Kobold Leader asks baby kobold why he went to the city. Leader gets angry, but Nima tells her to calm down. She jumps down from Holy Beast and tells her she brings the meat. Let's eat together, and after we can talk. She then smiles so they can trust her. Kobold's home. The Knights share the bug meat with the kobolds. Baby kobold has also returned to his mum, while Nima is with kobold leader Cicely. She's unfriendly to Nima because humans chase kobolds from their formal home. They attacked and killed many of them. Nima feels sorry for the kobolds. Then she tells kobold leader that an attack group will be coming soon to destroy them, so they need to leave the forest. She replies, the stars told us they are coming, as she has superpower of knowing what will happen through the star. She tells her, we will stay and fight humans. Nima says she has a plan to get humans and monsters to live together peacefully instead of fighting. She says, no, we don't want to. Humans hurt us before. We don't want to trust them. Nima feels disappointed. Just then, her brother waves at her saying, let's go home. Then she tells Kobold Leader she will come tomorrow. Suddenly, she sees a star of Savior appears next to Kobold Star in the sky, and she wonders if the Savior star is referring to Nima. An old kobold comes to her and she asks him if Nima could be their savior. At the inn where Ralph and others stay, he receives a letter from Dad saying their sister will join them soon. Meanwhile, Prince received permission letter from the king to check out the town, and royal knights in the town must follow his order. With this, he can also arrest. Prince says the king wants them to arrest any knight who tries to stop us. Nima thinks her dad must have asked him to. Nima is happy that Prince will also stay with them in the town now. Then Ralph remembers Accountant and wonders what happened to him. Prince uses spirit bugs to find out where he is and sees he is hiding in an inn. He says Accountant is safe. Then Nima says, let's go and see kobolds in the forest. When they get there, she says, everyone, I bring food. Some baby kobolds gather round the food. Kobold Leader is surprised she comes again and shocked when she sees baby spider and slime on her. Nima says, see Goblin Leader there, I help them all. Kobold Leader feels sad. She asks, are they with you because of the plan you told me before? Nima is curious and wonders if she wants to join her now. Then she says, I know humans hurt you before, but I want to help you. She remembers the savior star she saw, but still says, no, I want to protect kobolds and my little sister myself. She reveals her sister and her are the ones left in her family. Others have been killed by humans. Then she cries. Nima gives her slime to Pet, saying she will help her calm. She enjoys it and says, I feel calm now. She asks, can we save all the kobolds? Nima replies, it will be difficult, but I will try my best. She says, well, tell me more about your plan now. They sit together and she explains, I want to gather all monsters who lost their homes in one place. I just want to save everyone who is in trouble. Finally, Kobold Leader agrees to join her, saying, I will put my faith in you. She stands up, saying, let me call other leaders. Nima wonders if the kobolds have different talents. One white kobold appears and thanks her for saving baby kobold before. He says, I am Hanley from the Healer family. She's surprised he has a name and says, I named that goblin over there, and now I am his master. White kobold is surprised and says, how can a small child be goblin master? She ignores his question and says, tell me more about kobolds. Then he begins saying, there are two types of kobolds, the hunting and lifestyle. The hunting kobolds can fight, while lifestyle kobolds produce useful things. Nima asks, why some kobolds walk on 4 legs while others walk on 2. He replies, adult walk on 2 legs while baby kobolds walk on 4 as they are still weak. Meanwhile, Nima isn't listening to him, and she did touch and hug him. He says, let me go, but Nima refuses, saying, you are so soft. Her brother comes to her and she says, let's recreate something as soft as this white kobold with your magic. Her brother touches him and he's amazed at the softness. Prince also touches him, and he likes it too. Prince says, let's cut his fur, but he says no. Nima continues to hug him. Then the kobold leader comes and says, I gather other kobold leaders. Then Nima tells them about the plan. She says, we are yet to get a place for all monsters to live, but you can stay with goblins in cave for now. The leaders like the plan that they are going to have equal rights as humans, and that they will be able to work when we get there. Nima asks if they agree to the plan already, and they say yes. She says, now let's find a way to stop attack group coming for kobolds. One kobold says they can't have time to escape because they are close already. She suggests they can pretend to move towards town but later change direction to escape. This will help them confuse the group, and since they can run very fast, it will be easy for them. The kobold leaders worry many of them may die that way. Just then, a girl appears, saying, don't let that girl fool you. Kobold leader says, what are you doing here, sister? Nima is surprised hearing she's her sister she tells her about, but she looks different. She asks, is she not a kobold? Kobold leader replies, she is a beast person from wolf family. I adopted her as my sister when she was abandoned. She walks close to her and asks why she thinks she's fooling them. She says, humans are not kind. A kobold says, the food she brought was just to deceive us. Kobold leader asks them to keep quiet. Nima says, I know some humans are not kind, but we came to help you all. Or do you have a way to save the kobolds? She replies, I don't know, as they don't tell me anything as a kid, but they tell you a kid stranger all about us. Kobold leader wants to stop her, but she says, let her say her mind. Then she says, I can fight too. I want to do something for other kobolds. She cries while Nima pats her head and asks, will you like to join me? She's amazed by her question, but didn't reply. Nima says, don't worry, you will be safe by my side. The wolf girl thinks about it, and she decides to pat her head while at it. Afterwards, she asks, can I be able to help my sister if I join you? Nima answers, yes. Then her sister tells her, that girl is our savior, so stay by her side and protect her. Wolf girl happily agrees, but Nima is confused that she calls her savior. Then leader reveals, the star tells her she's their savior. Nima says, what about my brother and prince? She answers, if you are not here, they would have given up on us. Her brother and prince agree it's true. Then they continue to discuss how kobolds will escape from the attack group. After, Nima asks Ralph to use magic to check what the group is doing, so that they can be able to avoid many kobolds dying. He agrees to do it. Then everyone gets ready to move. Kobold leader instructs the kobolds to make materials they can use to fly according to each family's talent. Nima comes to look for her brother, and she sees they are talking. One kobold appears behind her saying, 5 to 6 kobolds will go where the attack group is and report if something happens. He then reveals that the baby kobold she rescued is the 12th born from his family. She's amazed that they have such a big family. Prince and Ralph were done talking, after which they tell Nima 2 baby kobold go to attack group to serve as a messenger. While they decide to return to the town, she tells the baby kobolds to inform the knights if anything happens. While Nox will report to her brother, some knights also disguise themselves to spy on the attack group. Then, Prince says, let's visit the town knights. On getting there, they greet the prince. Then he asks if the knight leader is in charge of kobold attack group. He answers, yes, and Prince says, I have something to tell you about it. Meanwhile, Nima finds accountant among the knights, and she asks him to come see her that night. When Ralph tells the knight leader that he wants to go with the attack group, he replies, it's dangerous, and they might not be able to protect him. Nima says he will only help with healing the injured. He's amazed and says, if we can get 2 guards from you, then you can join. The 2 knights with them agree to go with him. Just then, a knight comes in and whispers in his ear. He stands up and says, sorry, I have an emergency. Goblin leader sees the emergency with spirit magic. They decided to go check it out. Nima is shocked when she sees the injured knights. Are badly injured. 3 healers try to heal them with magic. Ralph says 3 healers won't be enough to heal them, so he decides to join them. Nima wonders why the wound looks bad. Prince says they were attacked by a dangerous beast and wind magic. Ralph gets there and says, I want to help. She prays that her brother's magic will heal them, while he activates his magic, and he prays too. The knight's wounds are healed. Ralph is happy. Prince asks if they know who caused the wound. One knight says, a beast master. Prince says they have to stop criminals like Beast Master who pretend like adventurers. At night in the inn, Nima walks towards her room feeling tired. She wants to say goodnight to Ralph in his room, but then she sees accountant. He greets her, and she asks if he is okay. He says yes. She asks why he was with the knights earlier. He says he was trying to find out secrets between knight and adventurers. When he got to the knights, he lied that he was once an adventurer, and he needs a job. They gave him a desk knight job, and now he's trying to find wrongdoing among knights. He finds out the knight commander takes bribes from adventurers and gives false reports so they can get more money from the guild, though he has no proof yet. The prince says they need evidence, and he assures him he will get it. Prince says it might be difficult as knights are becoming more corrupted. Then something comes to his mind. He says knights over-order supplies, so they might be able to get evidence through that. So he gives him his sword to arrest anyone guilty of this. Nima walks up to him and tells him to just get the evidence and leave the rest to Prince and others to make sure he is safe. She then asks spirits to protect him. Ralph takes her to bed and accountant bows. Ralph stops and says don't do anything to make Nima sad. He promises not to. Then she says, accountant, you're my friend. He smiles smiles, saying thank you. Nima is amazed because she never sees his smile. Afterwards, Prince tells Ralph the kobolds' attack squad will come the next day. Ralph says Nima might not be happy if kobolds die, and the prince replies, we can't avoid it since she made the plan. Next day, at the kobolds' home, Wolf Girl tells the baby kobolds they will be having their last meeting with Nima group. Prince wants everyone, even kids, to be at the meeting. He says, we want to help you go to a safe place because that's what Nima wants. He reveals the attack group has 53 knights and 2 healers. While the adventurers have 34 fighters and 8 healers, Nima feels Prince is taking her plans seriously. What if it doesn't work? Prince calls her and asks if she has anything to tell them. Nima is nervous at first. Then she summons courage to talk. She says, this is going to be dangerous, so everyone needs to prepare. Wolf Girl and baby kobolds look nervous. Nima also looks scared. Prince tells her, cheer up. Everyone will panic if they see their leader looking scared. Nima asks Prince if he's always calm in a situation like this. He replies, yes, I'm going to be king someday, so I have to. But I will always prepare ahead and think more before I speak. Nima assumes he's right. She has to prepare, but isn't sure how. Through spirit, Prince receives a report from Ralph that the Beastmaster and the person he was fighting have been released to join the attack group. Nima asks why. Prince responds, the commander released them. Meanwhile, early the next day, the plan begins. Nima's brother tells her to be careful, though she still looks worried. She waves to them. 2 baby kobolds come to her and try to cheer her up. Kobold fighter leader says she should not worry since they are with her. She asks if he's not scared. He replies, I am an old man, and I have found myself in a lot of dangerous situations. I have no fear anymore. I just want to protect others, and I will protect you as well. We have decided to trust you, Nima, so do what you need to do. With that, Nima feels happy again. After, Prince announces to the kobolds that the attack group had arrived, and Beastmaster who hurts the knight has been released without penalty, so he will be their first target. Wolf Girl comes to Nima and asks if she's okay. She replies, yes, I'm fine. Suddenly, she senses the attack group is close. Just then, the attack group appears in numbers and moves towards Kobold's home. Knight Commander asks the knights to focus on the kobolds and the Wolf Girl. The adventurers of the attack group say among themselves that they have been experiencing difficulties since they entered the forest. Like some invisible force is getting in their way. Another says he senses that some nobles are around the forest. Unknown to them, the kobolds are hiding in the forest around some checkpoint. Nima and his group also get ready to attack. Prince tells Nima, let's go, while Goblin Leader uses magic spirit to create thick fog to blur their vision, giving the kobolds chances to attack. While the attack group becomes confused, some kobolds attack them with poisonous substances to keep them inactive and tied them to a tree. Luckily, the Beastmaster is captured. Nima asks him, where is your beast? Unexpectedly, the beast appears and attacks one kobold, but Baby Spider stings him, and stings the Beastmaster. Kobold checks if he's dead, but he's just paralyzed. Nima praises Baby Spider for helping them. Prince commands the kobolds to begin the next plan. They release logs and logs mixed with blades to attack them. Knight Commander asks knights to keep moving. Some fall into a pit with slime at the bottom, and she eats their weapons. Adventurers from the attack group try to save them from the pit, casting central pillar magic that erupted from the pit with the knights on it. Seeing that, Nima calls on Soul to help counter this magic. He appears and says he can't because some of her group can be harmed. The adventurers attack the kobolds and kill some of them. While Nima and Prince watch, Prince says that's adventurers in the attack group. Bear Beastman in adventurers group says he could sense human presence among the kobolds helping them. Adventurer leader hears Nima talk and wonders, is a child helping them? They wonder what they are going to do next, as many of their fighters were injured already. Adventurers had killed some of the kobolds too, and their leader commands them to move forward with fighting. Nima's surprised the adventurers are that strong. The kobolds set out a fire, and that makes the adventurers shocked, thinking it's a fire magic. The adventurer leader asks them to retreat for now. Our opponents are tougher than we thought. The knight commander says, no, we just killed half of them. He replies, they might kill us too. The adventurer leader wonders why the kobolds killed none of them, and Lady Adventurer says, the mission looks like a scheme. Ralph tells the knight leader no one is hurt among them. A female healer tells Ralph that they can only take care of wounded people. Another says it's suspicious none of them was killed by kobolds. She says if the wolf girl among them can use magic, it will be difficult to kill the kobolds because she will be so strong. Adventurer leader adds, monsters are divided into those who can evolve and not. Those that evolved can use strength, magic, or speed. Ralph asks the other healer to cast a barrier on them, which they did. He asks them to swear upon their names not to tell anyone what he's about to say. The knight commander swears likewise. The adventurer leader then, he reveals that they discovered there's high chance that the increase in monster attacks is caused by some organization. They are shocked to hear. He says they are yet to discover the organization, and they can retreat now that they killed some of the kobolds, since kobolds only fight when they are many. Adventurer leader also says they smelled human among kobold and hears the voice of a little girl. Ralph confused them, saying, it might be a kobold or adventurer speaking, and even if humans are by their side, they will have to do something fast because other knights are still fighting. The commander realizes that kobolds are not not the only threat to their town. More monsters might come, Ralph says, keeps chasing them there. So he asks them to retreat. Just then, there was lightning, which shocks everyone. They run to where the sound comes and see many knights were injured, but no kobolds. They wonder if the lightning takes them away. Nima feels bad as she watches the kobolds gathering the died kobolds killed by knights. Wolf Girl cries. The fight is a serious one as kobolds lost their lives trying to save it. Nima regrets, saying, "It's my fault I started this." Prince asks Goblin Leader to get lightning ready and tells the kobolds to cover their eyes and ears as the lightning carries them away. Goblin Leader activates the lightning, making knights fall unconscious. Prince, Nima's group, and kobolds run past them to safety. They continue to run. Still, Nima looks sad. They arrive at the safe place. Kobold Leader and other kobolds who had escaped are there. She asks where the captured adventurers were. Prince replies, "We left them behind. They will figure out things once they wake up, while Beastmaster will be arrested." He adds, 14 kobolds died and 11 were badly injured, and the healers can't heal them. The kobolds cry, claiming their leader sacrificed himself for them. Hearing that, Nima also cries, remembering the kobolds' fighter leader's words. It's a sad moment for kobolds. Just then, Nima speaks up, saying, "Stop crying. The dead won't like it." One kobold becomes angry and says, "It's your fault, Nima." She admits it's her fault, yet she says it's not right to cry. One kobold asks, "You don't want us to mourn them?" She replies, "No, I just want you to stop feeling sorry for yourselves. Those who died want you to survive and smile, so you need to be strong, so they don't dislike you. You can blame me all you want, but I'm going to be strong like them." Everyone is silent. Nima, in despair state, remembers when Goblin Leader calls her master, and she knows it means she has to protect them. She has chosen the path of a leader, which is difficult with monsters as her followers, but she's determined to protect the rest of kobolds so dead kobolds will not waste their lives. Wolf Girl stands saying, "I am going to be stronger too." Nima is surprised. She adds, "So I will protect the kobolds and Nima." Kobold Leader says Nima is right. Kobolds watch their leader as she talks. Then she moves closer and bows before Nima, saying, "Please lead us to peace. The stars tell me you are our savior. Those stars have been guiding us through difficulties, so if they tell us to follow you, we will." Nima answers, "What if the road is hard?" She stands up and says, "I believe in the stars and Nima." She asks other kobolds if they are okay with what she says. At first, they are silent. Then, White Kobold steps forward and says, "As the leader of the healers, I know every living must die, and those kobolds die because it's their time." One kobold says, "I agree," and another, and so all the kobolds. One kobold cries again. Finally, they all chorus, "Please look after us." Nima feels touched. Then the kobolds clap their hands for Nima, after they discuss where to go from there, and they decide to send the kobolds to the mountain called Mount Lightimo. They keep the dead kobolds in his care for now. Prince tells Nima, "Now let's get back to town." Then Kobold Leader brings her sister, saying to Nima that she wants to stay with her. She imagines she will be the best as her maid. She tells her, "You can live with me in the capital, and you will learn how to go about it." She agrees. Then her sister asks her to name her, which makes her shocked. She says, "White Kobold says a kobold leader should name everyone." She says, "Yes, but my sister is a beast person, not monster, and won't be bound to her." Wolf begs her, and she thinks of a name for her. Then she says, "Spikix." Wolf Girl is happy. Nima feels good too. All of a sudden, two kobold jumps on her and bark. She asks what they want, and their leader says they also want a name. She says, "I will be grateful if you name them, because I'm curious to see how they grow." Then she names them Ciego and Rikuse. Then light shines. Just then, Prince appears and says, "Let's go." She stands up ready to leave. Kobold Leader thanks them. Nima says, "Be careful. We will come see you again soon." She also tells Wolf Girl she will come back for her soon. They say goodbye to them, and she waves back, wishing to meet them again safe and sound. At the inn, the prince says they will leave by noon the next day. Meanwhile, Accountant is waiting for them in a room. He says, "I brought evidence about the knight wrongdoing." He gives the report to Prince, which contains how knights order stuffs and use them, and the receipt for additional orders and the goods weren't found. Prince thanks him and promises they will ask investigating agents to come from capital to investigate them. He says they would be able to catch someone other than the commander. Just then, Ralph comes back and she runs to hug him. He asks if she's okay, and she says yes. Ralph reports that none of the attack group died, and they are gathered at the feast. They come to see them. Prince and Ralph see an old knight who says the knights will be happy to see them. Prince says he's happy the attack group were able to send kobolds away. Old Knight thanks them and leaves. Prince says he will want someone to investigate the old knight. Nima asks Goblin Leader to do it. Ralph tells her she's going to heal some people, so she should stay with Prince. Prince says, "Okay, let's go and see the attack group adventurers." The adventurers are amazed to see them. Then Prince says, "I heard you did well during the fight with kobolds. Thank you." Nima sees the leader's sword and remembers she saw it during the fight. One adventurer moves close to her and says, "I'm Luck. It's nice to meet the Holy Beast." Seeing that he's a bear beast person, she wishes to touch him. Holy Beast smacks her. Adventurer asks for her name name and she says, I'm Nima, the Duke's daughter. He says, sorry if I might not sound too polite. She says she understands that he's not used to such. He asks if she is the holy beast master. She says, no, it's Prince. I am just his friend. Adventurer is shocked to hear that and seems confused. He says, you are strange girl. Well, let me go eat. He asks Nima, will you like to come? And she says yes. She follows him while he wonders what to eat first. He asks Nima what she will like to eat. She's tired from walking. Adventurer carries her and she waves at Prince, saying, I want to go with Mr. Luck to get food. Prince says, you promised Ralph to stay with me. She says, come with us. Prince asks the adventurer he's talking with to come with him. Female adventurer says, it's strange that Nima isn't afraid of him like other kids do. As they move, Nima asks him, Mr. Luck, can I touch your ears? He says yes, and she touches it, saying, this feels nice. She then sees some kids washing plates. One of them is the kid that beat baby Kobold in the town. He's surprised to see Nima. He rudely says, don't disturb my work. Nima says, I won't. Then he says, I am doing this to survive, but when I become stronger, I will show you. Don't forget that, Nima. She replies, yeah, that makes us friends. Then a man asks him to come pack more plates. Nima feels sorry for him. Adventurer takes her back to Prince and her brother. Just then, someone comes running towards her. Turns out she's her sister who hugs her so close. Ralph tells her to let go of her. She says, I missed her so much. Then she asks, what have you been doing without me? Later, she eats with her pets. Her sister seems nervous that her pets are monsters. She comments, Nima is truly loved by God. She replies, maybe I am. I need to study more about countries and people because I have a lot to do and I don't want to trouble my family. Her sister is impressed by her wisdom and hugs her again. Adventurer says, call us if you have any trouble. I am a good fighter. Nima says, I will. She feels he is a nice guy. She imagines Kobold fighter leader and adventurer would be friends. At the inn, while Nima is asleep, a voice calls her name to wake up. She opens her eyes only to find Saul through her window. He says, come out, I want to show you around the world. She walks out to meet him. Saul flies her in the sky and she enjoys the view. The world is filled with beautiful things, Saul says, but humans are fools for not seeing them. Nima agrees, saying, other creatures come in other forms just trying to survive. She adds, I love this world, everyone and everything there. Swearing on her name, she says she will make her plan work out by all means and make the world a place where everyone can live together peacefully one day. With this, the story ends, and if you want a second season, aim for 2 million likes or 2,000 comments about your favorite animals and share this with your friends who love petting animals too.